Hey, what's up everybody? Welcome back to the channel and welcome to your February Arizona bass fishing report. You know, we're all excited for the spring to get here, myself included, although I do love winter weather. I think Mother Nature's got other plans. You know, I'm posting this kind of mid-February. The Waste Management Open Golf Tournament's going on right now in Scottsdale, and they've got brutal weather. They've got rain, they've got hail, they've got cold weather, and it's something that's been kind of hitting all of the state lately. Up north, there's been a bunch of snow, so that really affects our fishing. And I'm going to dive deep into that, talk about what this is going to do to the lake conditions, and when we're actually going to see that spring fishing. Fishing's been decent, and we'll go into the baits and stuff that I'm using now. Couple quick housekeeping items first, though. We did a bait giveaway in my last fishing report. I wanted to give away the baits that I talked about. I've got them sitting in a box right there. I picked a winner, and I replied to him in the comments, and I haven't heard back yet. So I want to give the winner one more chance. He's probably watching this video. He may not have seen the comment. So it's Ron R5419. Again, Ron R5419. Please send me an email with your name and address, and I'll mail you those baits as soon as I hear from you. And then on that same note, we're going to do it again this week. So if you drop a comment below, I'd love to hear if you've been fishing lately, what your plans are to fish this spring. But if you've got like a little nugget to add to the report, I really appreciate it big time. You know, helps me on the water and helps all the other listeners as well. So drop a nugget, a little comment in the comments, and then you're going to be entered to win these baits. And then again, yeah, what I'm going to do is I'll pick a winner randomly. I'll draw them. I'll draw a winner, and I'm just going to reply to your comment and ask you to please email me your address. So that's going to be your cue. Email me, and I will send you the baits. There'll be a winner picked here at the end of the week after I post this. So anyways, let's dive into it, guys. Fishing has been okay for the time of year that we've had. You know, I think all of the lakes have had their tough days, but they've also, you know, not been dreadful winter fishing lately. You know, January is always a tough month. It was a decent January. Into early February here, it's been decent. I've started my travel for the season, so I haven't fished as much personally. I've been out a few times, but also just talking to friends that are on the lakes a lot, other guides, stuff like that. Fishing's been decent. So, the rain and the snow melt we're getting, it affects the lakes. It affects them all. The lakes that you're going to see most affected would probably be Roosevelt, because it's on the top of the chain. So as you would imagine, all that snow that's falling in the White Mountains and in Payson, that is going to melt and run into the Salt River and run into the Verde. Into the Verde, and then ultimately it'll also run through the Tonto, and both the Tonto and Salt End of Roosevelt are going to get cold and muddy. The water's going to start coming up, and it makes for tough fishing. The middle of the lake is going to stay clearest the longest. But hey, the muddy water, it's one of those things that it stinks right when it's happening. Cold, muddy water in like basically winter pre-spawn is not a good thing. But as soon as it settles and as soon as those fish acclimate, it'll be really good. So like, yeah, we're probably looking at a few tough weeks, but hey, that water can stay muddy as long as the level stops coming up like crazy, and when it starts to warm up, it'll be great. Like, it'll go gangbusters. Muddy water in the spring when the fish want to go shallow is a good thing. So don't be afraid of that stuff later on, but as it's first muddying up, I would stay away from it and try to stay in the clearer water. Bartlett, I think, really gets affected too a lot. You know, when they get a lot of rain and they release out a horseshoe and that water's coming up fast, just the amount of water that will come into there and how much it'll raise, how quickly it'll raise, that can make it tough too. I mean, that's a lake that's got a lot of fish. Guys have been catching them decent out there, but it's just keep your eye on that again. And you know, when that water's coming up over a foot a day, it's tough. But when it settles, it'll be great. We'll see how much rain we get. We'll see how much these lakes actually get affected, but lakes like Pleasant, you know, Pleasant stays pretty clear overall. You might see a little dirty water in the river, which is closed anyways. Maybe a couple of the creeks will get a little bit dirty, but again, not a terrible thing, especially if the water's not just coming up like crazy fast. And then all the stuff below Roosevelt, Apache, Canyon, Saguaro. I was in Saguaro yesterday and it was full to the brim. You know, that place fluctuates a couple feet a day, but it was, I mean, plumb full. You couldn't see any low water stain at all. So, and I drove over the river on the way in, the Salt River, and there was no water moving. So that thing's full. There's definitely some dirtier water up lake. I saw, you know, a couple washes that ran in and made it a little bit dirtier, but I think that'll settle pretty quick as well. Same with Canyon, same with Apache. So if you're in one of those situations that you are on any of these lakes that the water did muddy up, right away for now, try to stay in the clear water. The jerkbait has been a really good tool for me lately. It's a great pre-spawn tool in general, great winter fishing tool. This is the Berkley Stunna. I've been catching them on the regular 112 Stunna and the Stunna +1. This is stealth shad color. It's my favorite clear water color. I mean, this is my favorite jerkbait, period, on the planet. I've been catching a lot of big fish on it. So actually the cover picture that we're using for this fishing report I caught on that bait. So like if you're in the clear water, that's a great way to catch them. Every single video I tell you drop shot's good. Yeah, it doesn't matter. It's good. It's a great way to catch them right now. The football jig works really well right now. I'm throwing it with a jigger craw trailer, just depending on the depth that you're at. But the water's still not 60 yet. It was 56 yesterday at Saguaro. And the lakes where it's going to be running in cold, it's going to be cooler there. But until, you know, while we're still in the 50s, you're still not breaking out a ton of different baits. There's obviously situations where you can pull something out and have success, but you know, in that clear water, another good pre-spawn bait's an Alabama rig. I don't have one right here in front of me, but that's a great way to catch bigger fish if you're a tournament guy or you're a guy that's just looking to catch bigger fish. That's a good way to do it in the clear water as well. But I do want to talk about the muddy water and a few baits. And we're talking general terms here because I don't know exactly what's going to happen to every lake. I haven't been to every lake, but this goes for all of them. If you find yourself in a situation here 2-3 weeks down the road, last week of February, first week of March, you're not getting, the water's not coming up crazy anymore. It's stained, it's muddy, it's dirty, but it's stabilized. Those fish are going to be ready to eat. They're going to be ready to pop, and you know, don't be afraid of the muddy water in that situation. So, spinnerbait. This is a Berkley spinnerbait with 2 Colorado blades. The double thumper, we call it. The Colorado blades move a lot more water than willow leaves in that dirty water. So Colorado, Indiana blades on your spinnerbait, and don't go too heavy. You know, the dirtier the water gets, you want to go lighter with your spinnerbait. Half ounce at the most. I'll even sometimes throw a 3/8, and I rarely throw a 3/8, but the reason I do that in that muddier water is you can slow it down even a little bit more. It forces you to slow it down. Otherwise, it's going to want to rise up to the surface, which of course you don't want. So it's a good just trick that you can use to slow yourself down is go to a little bit lighter spinnerbait with those Colorado blades. It's a good way to get those super shallow, muddy water fish to bite. Vibrating jig. This is a slobber knocker. I've talked about this in a lot of my on the water videos. Solid white, chartreuse white. Like a red craw is a good color too this time of year in the dirty water, but I keep it simple. I mean, I throw 90% of the time I'm throwing solid white or green pumpkin. And it's either, okay, is the water dirty? I'm throwing white. Is it clear? I'm throwing green pumpkin with this vibrating jig. I put a Power Stinger trailer on the back of it. That's a 4 1/4 inch. I personally, when I'm throwing vibrating jigs, I'm all about a straight tail trailer, and a lot of people are as well, but I don't like throwing any type of paddle tail on the back of a chatterbait or vibrating jig. A straight tail trailer, that Power Stinger is great because it's got a much firmer plastic. You can catch a lot of fish on one trailer. You know, sometimes I'll catch 10 or 12 fish with one trailer before it gets ripped off. So that's a good thing. And then, yeah, if you can get around some shallow water flats, maybe a little bit of water coming into the lake where it's muddy, a lipless crankbait. This is a great time for a lipless crankbait. This is a gold color right here. Works well in dirty water. Gold, red. If it's not super dirty, you could still use a shad color, but pre-spawn, late winter, it's one of my favorite times to throw a lipless bait. If you're following any of the tournaments going on right now nationally, you're going to see, other than the forward-facing sonar stuff, you're going to see a lot of lipless crankbaits in play. It's the best time of year for that. So this was a pretty general report this month. Again, part of it's because I haven't been on these lakes a lot myself, but again, it doesn't matter what was working last week when we have major changes coming in the water conditions. It's all about what's going to be working next week, and that's what we're trying to predict the future on. We don't know for sure, but hopefully some of this stuff will work for you guys if you're able to get on the water. If you're looking for guide trips, I do a bunch of guiding in the off season. I have a few dates open, spring and summer. If you're itching to get out at some point, then let me know. But also feel free to drop me a note and we can talk about fishing this fall as well. So thanks again for tuning in. Remember, Ron R5419. You got a box of baits that are waiting for you. Send me an email, azangler@gmail.com with your address. And then again, everyone else, these baits right here are going to someone else. So drop a comment below. Let me know what you've been catching lately, and we'll talk to you guys in the next video. Thank you.